give him the address, he just nodded and pulled out onto the road. I guessed Silicon Valley cab drivers were accustomed to making most of their trips from hotels to one tech company or another. I snapped open my laptop and took another look at some of the documents I had downloaded on the company I was about to visit. It sounded like a straightforward job, but they all do at first. I had time to read a couple of articles about Munola in tech journals, and one from the New York Times, before we reached the neighborhood that was my destination. The area looked something like an expensively designed college campus from 20 years in the future. Lots of well-maintained stretches of lawn and leafy trees. The buildings were all wide 2- or 3-story structures with smoked glass and steel exteriors, many of them with tasteful sculptures or water features outside. Almost none of them presented anything so gauche as a lot number or a sign identifying the name of their company. Instead, I saw lots of logos, artfully composed monograms, and the like. The driver pointed out some familiar names like Yahoo and Google as we passed their outposts. I was grateful he knew where he was going because I would have had difficulty navigating the maze of hieroglyphics. My job requires that I'm good at finding things. But I have my limits. Case in point, the company I was looking for was called Munola. The building was another sprawling glass and steel block, distinguished from the others only by a cartoon image of a smiling cow. I wasted a few seconds trying to work out the correlation between the logo and the name before realizing that I was probably giving it more thought than the marketing team had. "This is the place?" I asked as the driver pulled to a stop at the bottom of a path of black slate paving slabs that led to the entrance of the building. "Mm-hmm," he answered in the affirmative, checking the mileage and telling me the fare. "You don't look like you belong here," he offered as I handed over the cash. "Too old?" I asked, figuring the average age of a software guru was probably about 22. "Too dressed up." I glanced down at my suit. Even with my natural inclination to go tieless, he was probably right. I walked the length of the path, noting the security cameras watching me the whole way. The entrance was a double-glass door with the cow motif reproduced in frosting on the panels. It was a welcoming image to put on the front door, although the effect was undermined a little by the cameras and the sign warning that all visitors must be checked in, everyone had to swipe their pass, and no tailgating. There was an intercom. I pushed the buzzer, and a female voice answered immediately. "Munola, how may I help you?" I gave her my name, and told her I had a meeting with John Stafford, and she buzzed me in. I entered a small lobby with a flight of stairs leading to the second floor. The stairs were carpeted, and the place had a vague smell of newness, like the recent memory of cut wood and fresh paint. At the top of the stairs was another locked door, although this one had a window into reception that let the receptionist see me. She waved at me, and I heard a click as she unlocked the door remotely. Reception was another small, low-ceilinged room with no windows. The receptionist was a blonde in her mid-20s, wearing a black blouse. She sat behind a high desk. She smiled welcomingly, but before she could speak, I heard an abrupt voice from my right. "Carter Blake?" I turned to see another door leading to the interior of the building. A short man in jeans and a Led Zepp t-shirt. He had a lanyard around his neck holding a white card, which I assumed was a security pass, but it was facing the wrong way. He had dark hair, glasses, one of those little tufted beards under his bottom lip. "That's me," I said. "You're with Mr. Stafford?" John Stafford was the name I'd been given. It hadn't rung any bells with me when I'd heard it the previous evening, but a little Googling had revealed he was something of a hot young gun in software. Not a Mark Zuckerberg or anything like that, at least not yet, but the kind of guy who would probably be commanding the front cover of Wired within the next year and Forbes the year after that. The guy with the tufted beard sighed.